morning students. Today we will study class 9 chapter 4, that is structure of atoms. In previous lecture we had studied about the different models of atoms that were discarded later. So the new model which was discovered by Niels Bohr is the model which has quite satisfactory results. So Niels Bohr gave a model which shows some satisfactory results and explain all the drawbacks given by the Rutherford. So here number one, the postulate is the electron revolve around the nucleus in certain orbit. So which means electron is revolving around the nucleus in a fixed path. That fixed orbit has certain fixed amount of energy. So we simply say that these are the certain orbits, shells or energy levels. Secondly, when the electrons revolve around the nucleus, it does not radiate any energy, which means atom doesn't collapse. So here the stability of atom is maintained. So when the electron is revolved around the nucleus in a fixed path, then the radiation and then the energy does not radiate, which means atom does not collapse. So here these are the energy levels which discussed by the Bohr model. Here it is a nucleus and here the first shell, that is called K shell. For K shell n is equal to 1. I will discuss about n later. So next for shell number L, that is n equals to 2. For M shell n equals to 3 and for N shell n is equals to 4. So here these are the energy levels in an atom that is discussed by the Bohr model. So overall we can say that atom is spherical in nature, the nucleus is present in the center and the electrons revolve around the nucleus in a fixed orbit, and that fixed orbit has the fixed energy. So which means the model shows the stability of atom that is not shown by the Rutherford model of an atom. So after the discovery of Bohr model or along with the discovery of Bohr model, the neutron, that is third subatomic particle of atom, is discovered. As I told you earlier, the atom has three atomic particles, that is electron, proton and neutrons. So electron and protons are discovered by the gas discharge experiment. We discussed about that in previous lecture. Now we will discuss about neutrons. So neutrons is discovered by J. Chadwick. So neutron has no charge, which means neutron has mass approximate equals to proton. So next is, it is present in nucleus of all atoms except for hydrogen. So it is discussed in next article. Next is the mass of nucleus, which means here the nucleus, mass of nucleus equals to mass of proton and mass of neutron. So here nucleus contains proton as well as neutrons and the outer shells contain electrons. So here the atom consists three subatomic particles. So here the next topic is atomic number. So atomic number is denoted by Z. So what is atomic number? So atomic number is number of proton in one atom of an element. So what we say, how many proton an atom has is determined by its atomic number. In the previous chapter, I give you a table or chart to understand or to learn the atomic numbers of different elements. So here the atomic number is given, give the number of proton in one atom. For the neutral atoms, the number of protons are equal to number of electrons. But if the atom is not neutral, that is atom is ion, that is cation or anion, the number of protons and number of electrons are not same. So which means for the neutral atom, the number of protons equals to the number of electrons. For example, hydrogen. Hydrogen has atomic number 1, so that equals to 1, which means it has 1 proton and 1 electron. Clear? On the other side, sodium. For sodium, atomic number is 11. So atomic number 11 means sodium has 11 proton and 11 electron. But on the other side, if we say Na positive, so Na positive means sodium is cation. How cation is formed? We already know in previous lecture, cation is formed by loss of electron. So sodium positive, which means cation, Na positive means sodium cation. So sodium cation is formed by loss of 1 electron. So here the loss of 1 electron take place and the proton is 11 and electron is 10. So that's why atomic number for neutral atom is given the number of electron as well as number of protons, but the atomic number of ions ions have different protons and different electrons. So next is mass number. So mass number is denoted by A. It is denoted by A. So what is mass number? Mass number is the total number of protons and neutrons. So what is mass number? Mass number is total number of protons and neutrons. So protons and neutrons both are present inside the nucleus. So that's why proton and neutron collectively called nucleons. So what are nucleons? Protons and neutrons collectively called nucleons. So we can say that the mass number of an element is equals to number of protons plus number of neutrons. So here the example showing aluminium A is equals to 27, and which means atomic number is 27. Sorry, mass number is, I am sorry, here mass number is 27. So what is the atomic number of aluminium? So Z is 13. So here proton is 13. So what we get? We get the neutron. 27 minus 13 is 14, which means the neutrons are number. How much neutrons are there in aluminium? That is 14. So by knowing atomic number and mass number, we can calculate electron, proton and neutron. Or vice versa, if we have electron, proton and neutron, we can calculate the atomic mass and the atomic number and the mass number. So next, how we represent the symbol? To represent the symbol of element, we use this criteria. What this criteria says? Here X is the element and A is the mass number. It should be right on the top of the element, and Z is the atomic number. A is the mass number and Z is the atomic number. It should be lie down. So how we write the representation? How we represent the symbol of element? For example, if we want to write the symbol for magnesium, it is magnesium. Its mass number is 24 and its atomic number is 12. So here it is the symbolic representation of an element. So atomic number and mass number is given by the symbol as I showed you earlier. So here is a question, you try to answer it. If the number of electrons of an atom is 8 and the number of protons of atom is 8, what is the atomic number of that atom or that element? So try to recall my question. If the number of electron is 8, number of proton is 8, what is the atomic number? So here the answer is atomic number is 8. Is that atom or element carrying any charge? No, because the number of number of protons and number of electrons are same in number. So that's why atom is neutral. So next is electron distribution in different orbits. So this distribution is given by Bohr-Burry. So as Bohr told you that the electrons are arranged in the shells. So how they are arranged is given by the electron distribution. So it is given by Bohr and Burry. So in a shell the maximum number of electron is 2n square. For example, K shell 2, n is 1, as I give you in Bohr postulate that n is 1 for K shell. So 2 into 1 is 2. For L shell, n is 2. 2 square is 4, 4 to 8, that is 8 electron. So firstly the filling of electron in the shells is done in stepwise manner. What does it mean? If the inner shells are empty, then you are not allowed to add the electron in outer shells. Clear? So here the maximum number of electrons that accommodate in an atom, that is only 8. So the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in shell is 8 electrons only. So the outermost shell has maximum of 8 electrons. So here for M shell, as the number is going 3 square 9, 9 to 18. So that is 18 electrons. So here, if the K shell of an element or of an atom is filled, what does it mean? K has 2 electrons. You can see here. If L shell of atom is filled, what does it mean? N is 8. What is the atomic number of that element, or how many electrons that element has? So the total number of electrons is 10 electrons. So what is the atomic number? That is 10. So here we calculate the different number of electrons, protons and neutrons by the different means, but by knowing the atomic number, mass number, K shell, L shell, M shell, so we can calculate that. So the electronic configuration, so how these electrons are filled in that shell. So first we write the electronic configuration in different shells. That is K, L, M. So first the hydrogen has one atomic number is 1. These are the atomic numbers and these are the symbols for element. This table is already given in 4.1 table in your book. So you can see from the textbook also. So this is the atomic number and these are the elements of such symbols of that elements. So here the hydrogen has atomic number 1, which means it has 1 electron in K shell. Here the helium has atomic number 2. So K shell has maximum of 2 electrons, which means it can take 2 electrons maximum. You can see here. So here it is 2 electrons. So lithium has 3 atomic number, which means 3 electrons. So K can accommodate only 2. So next electron will go there. Similarly for beryllium has 4 atomic number and 4 electrons. So it has 2, 2. Similarly 2, 3. So here sodium has atomic number 11. So which means it has 11 electrons. So 2 is here and L shell can accommodate 8 electrons. So 2, 8. 2, 8, 10. So which means 1, 11. 2, 8, 2, which means 12. 2, 8, 3. 2, 8, 4. 2, 8, 7. 2, 8, 8. So L shell has maximum of, M shell has but maximum of 18 electrons, but the Bohr rule says it can accommodate maximum 8 for inner shells. So next for calcium is 2, potassium is 2, 8, 8, 1. 2, 8, 8, 2. So these are the electronic configuration for the certain elements. So here you can also distribute these electrons in a shell. For example, I will show you for boron. Here it is the nucleus, it is the K shell, it is the L shell. So K shell has 2 electrons. You can write a 2 electron like this, and the L shell has 3. 1, 2, 3. So it is for boron. For example, for aluminium. For aluminium, it is a nucleus, it is K shell, it is L shell, it is M shell. So here it is 2 electron. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is 8 electron in N shell. 1, 2, 3. It is 3 electrons in M shell. So just like we write the energy level diagram for different elements by knowing the electronic configuration. So is that clear? So by knowing the electronic configuration, we can also know about the valency of electron. So next topic is valency of elements. So the valency of element is combining capacity of atom. So you know in previous lecture we see the different formulas of an element. So how the atoms combine, how the elements combine, why the elements combine. So it is always depend their combining capacity. So this combining capacity is called the valency of that atom. So the combining capacity of an atom is valency. So electrons present in outermost shell are called valence electron. So these are the valence electron present in the outside of the shell. So just like that you can see the large shell is L. So one is the valence electron. So the outer electrons show the chemical activity. So how the atoms combine, what type of chemical reactions they show, it always done by their outer electrons. So if the element has complete 8 electrons, for example, you can see here in argon, it has complete 8 electron in outer shell. So which means complete electron, 8 electrons, zero valency, no valency at all. It is stable or inert. What does inert mean? Not reactive. It doesn't take part in chemical reactions. For octet, duplet atoms, we can say that they are stable. For example, helium. Helium has duplet, so which means it is stable. So argon has octet. It is stable. So to attain the stability, the atom should lose electrons and atom should gain electrons. How much electrons the atom gain or lose give the electrovalency. So electrovalency is a word used for ions. How many atoms can be, how atoms share the electrons or how many electrons are shared by atoms is called covalency. So the electrovalency and covalency are just the valencies. So for ions, we simply say the electrovalency, or for the sharing of electron, it is called the covalency. So now the question is how valency is calculated. So here you can see valency is calculated for metals and non-metals differently. For metals, the valency is equals to the number of valence electrons. So what are the valence electrons? The electrons present in the outer shell. For non-metal, valency equals to 8 minus number of valence electrons. 8 minus number of valence electron means we can separate the last electron from it. So this is the valency for non-metals. So let us see, for example, in boron, you can see here boron has electronic configuration 2, 3. Boron is metal. So it can lose its 3 electron so that it can attain the duplet for K shell. If it is attain the duplet for K shell, so it lose 3 electrons. So boron has 3 valency. So we can simply say for metals it is the number of valence electrons. For example, in chlorine, you can see here for chlorine, it has 7 electrons in outermost shell. It has 7 electrons in outermost shell. It can't lose that 7 electrons to join with some other atom. So it will gain that 1 electron from outside and get the octet complete. It gets 288. So we can say for non-metal, valency equals to 8 minus 7, that is 1. So what is the valency for chlorine? That is 1. For example, in magnesium. So in magnesium, you can see 282. So 282 means large shell has 2 electrons. If it lose that 2 electrons, it has 8 electron in previous shell. That is the stable shell. So 2 electron can be loose. So which means magnesium has 2 valency. So in this way, we can calculate the valency of the different types of element. As we already done that valencies in previous chapter also, you can revise the table number 4.1 in your text. Next topic is isotopes and isobars. So isotopes are the atoms of same element having same atomic number but different mass number. So what does it mean? Having same atomic number. As you already know, the atomic number is related to the number of protons. So which means if the atomic number is same, then the number of protons are also same. So similarly, so different mass number means different number of neutrons, as mass number is directly related to the neutron. So here are the few examples I will discuss here. So chlorine has 2 isotopes, which means it has 2 elements which has different mass number, 35Cl17 and 37Cl17, which means it has 17 protons. So both has same number of protons. But here neutron for chlorine is 18. You can subtract 35 minus 70, it is 18. So for this it is 20. So here you can see protons are same in number but neutrons are different. So electron and proton are same in number, that's why they are 17. For others, for hydrogen has 3 isotopes, that is protium, deuterium and tritium. For here proton is 1. So here proton is 1, proton is 1. Neutron is 0, neutron is 1 and neutron is 2. But the electrons are same in number. So there are different types of isotopes also. For carbon is 12C6, 13C6 and 14C6. So these are the different isotopes for carbon also. So for 14C6 is called the radioactive isotope. So radioactive isotopes are the isotopes which emit radiations. So that's why they are radioactive. So they are useful for the many medical purposes also. So here the valence electrons for these isotopes are same in number. So their valency is also same. That's why their chemical properties are also same. But they have different mass number which show the different physical properties. So here are 2 points that you have in mind. As you see in previous lecture, we used 35.5 for the chlorine as the atomic mass. But how it is calculated, I will convert here. So for chlorine, 35U is 3, ratio 1 is present. What does it mean? 35U is 75% and 37 is 25%. So how we calculate the average mass? That is 75 upon 100 into that 35 plus 25 upon 100 into that 37. So you can calculate that is 35.5 U. So here are the few applications of isotope. Number 1, isotopic uranium is used as a fuel for nuclear reactors. Isotopic cobalt is used for the treatment of cancer. Isotopic iodine is used at the treatment of goiter. It is a disease of thyroid. So clear? So next is isobar. So isobars are the atoms of different elements. So kept in mind, isotopes are the elements of same elements. So here which has different atomic number but the same mass number. So it will be clear to you by knowing the examples. So here argon and calcium are the isobars because they have same mass number but different atomic number. So how many protons that argon has? 18. How many protons that calcium has? 20. And how many neutrons they have? They have same number of neutrons. So you can see here. So neutrons is 40 minus 18, that is 22. So in sodium you can see how many protons? 11. How many protons in magnesium? 12. 24 minus 11 is 30. 24 minus 12 is 12. So for isobars, protons and neutrons are different. But for isotopes, neutrons is different but protons are same. So here we will conduct a test for chapter 4 of class 9 tomorrow. You will revise all the questions which have been given in